Holding of only one regular meeting of council during the summer months, being July 16th and August 20th. As a result, the publicly scheduled meetings of June 2nd and August 6th are hereby cancelled.
July 2nd.
July 2nd.
July 16th, July 2nd, August 6th. Did I say something else? Okay. July 2nd and August 6th.
There you go.
Okay, moved by
I'll let you do it.
Councillor Pottinger, seconded by Councillor Gerard. Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that we enter into an agreement with Manitoba Hydro to extend natural gas service through the industrial park for a customer contribution of $120,003.50 plus GST. We have a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Sicily, seconded by Councillor Kosenchuk. Discussion. Call for the question. All those in favor? Carried.
Public hearing.
Public hearing. Okay, be it resolved that we do now open this public hearing at 7:05 p.m. to hear the representation to bylaw 3229-24, being a bylaw to amend the Town of Neepawa zoning bylaw 3184-18. Moved by Councillor Gerard, seconded by Councillor Kosenchuk. Any discussion? All those in favor? That's carried. Okay, do we have comments there? Building Inspector Ron.
Sure, I'll just read the bylaw, and it's bylaw number 3229-24. So it's a map amendment, the Town of Neepawa zoning map, attached to and being part of the Town of Neepawa zoning bylaw number 3184-18, as amended, is hereby further amended in order that lands described as follows. Lot 3, Block 1, Plan 33580, and Lots 5 and 6, Plan 65638, NLTO, in the Town of Neepawa, as shown, outlined in a heavy solid line on a map attached hereto, and marked as Schedule A, and made part of the amending bylaw number 3229-24, be rezoned from its current RS residential single unit zone to RT residential 2 unit zone. And this application is to allow for the construction of side-by-side dwelling units is the proposal, or the proposal for the lots. The bylaw, the public hearing has been, it's been circulated through its provincial comments. The report to council, so through all the provincial comments there, through those that were circulated, there was no comments offered by the province. So regional planning has no concerns with this bylaw. Further to that, it was also circulated to the neighboring property owners in probably a minimum of 100 meters. And it was also circulated in 2 instances in the local newspaper. Our office has received no comments for or against at this time.
Okay, do we have any questions from councillors?
There are currently some duplexes in very close proximity to this proposed amendment, correct? Or this variation, correct?
That is correct, yes.
So it would keep in line with housing that is currently in that neighborhood?
Very much so, yes.
Okay.
Both sides of it on that street are already currently RT, so
Okay.
that whole strip would be consistent.
So it would be more of a question of correcting RS to match what's going on in the neighborhood currently.
That would be a good way of putting it, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Do we have anybody in the audience that wish to speak for or against this?
He indicated he was just here for information.
Yeah, I'm right next to the property.
Okay.
At 7 or 8.
Okay.
Sounds good.
When I saw the two unit zone, that's no problem. It's not, we were just wondering whether there would be more than 2 units.
Okay. Very good, thank you.
Yeah, I think the proposal would be for five total buildings of 2 units each. Yes.
What's happening to the building that's there?
The last I heard, the plan will be to remove it. Yeah, it possibly be used for under construction as storage, but as it develops, the plan is to remove that, yes.
Is there a hazard there or at all? There used to
You're
be.
talking soil?
Yeah.
Very limited contaminants. Every report we've received back would suggest that the property is fine. The action we took at the time, though, was to say that anybody that builds in the duplex area along Crocus Drive would basically build either on slab or a very limited crawl space. Just for extra protection.
I think those used to be, even smaller one used to be a bulk station at some time, bulk chemical or fuel or something like that.
Fertilizer,
Wasn't
yeah.
it?
Okay, any further questions? Call for a second time, anyone for or against from the audience? Call for a third time, anyone for or against from the audience? Seeing no response, be it resolved that we now adjourn this public hearing at 7:09 p.m. Moved by Councillor Nadeau, seconded by Councillor, oh shoot,
What?
Lisa Pottinger.
Lisa.
All righty. Sorry, Lisa.
It's okay.
All those in favor?
I've been called worse today, in fact. Okay.
Okay. Now, if I may, one thing on the gas proposal. Should we maybe have a discussion as to where that end is going?
We already voted.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no.
Leave it alone. Okay.
Yeah. Just so everybody knows, though, to add to that, because we realize the viewers are not watching. So the gas proposal is going to run basically on the road that is out by our industrial park east of town. It's going to bring it to the eastern periphery of the Southwest 34, 14, 15, with the idea that into the future, we should be able to send that gas line straight across that quarter section to service the new school whenever we get that going and in place and confirmed by the province. So we're doing just step by step as recommended in our housing study and strategy document and how we develop our town, create our land use planning, and as we can afford these things and can get the services in place, whether it be water, sewer, hydro, or otherwise, we're going to chip away at those things so that we're prepared.
All right. Shall we have council reports now that I'm supposed to follow the agenda? My apologies. Councilor Cicely, go for it.
Neepawa Habitat for Humanity held their family selection meeting last night. There were several families in attendance. If you're looking for more information about eligibility, please contact Amanda Nottingale at Salvation Army or Marilyn at the town office. The second annual Children's Business Fair applications are open now. The Children's Business Fair will be held on August 15th at the Yellowhead Center. Space is limited, so watch for the marketing on the town Facebook page. You'll see posters like this out. If anybody attended the Children's Business Fair last year, it was amazing. There was 20 kids, I believe, and there was a waiting list. The products that these kids came up with was just unbelievable, so I'm very much looking forward to that this year. And I just want to touch on, I was able to take in part of the Filipino Heritage Celebration on Saturday, and just wanted to say thank you to our Filipino community. It was absolutely amazing. So.
Okay, any other council reports? Councilor Nadeau.
Just a short one tonight and a little information for everyone. So on June 11th, there was a Justice Committee meeting. Not really much to say there, but on June 6th, we had a Rossburn Subdivision Trail Association meeting. And some good news, our trail group is looking after the mowing of the trail now in order to get consistency and also to save municipalities money. So it's good for us too, just to know that we we have purchased a mower and we're renting a tractor from a local implement dealer from Neepawa in order for about 2 months, maybe 3, just to mow the trail twice this season. And we started in Neepawa. It started about a week and a half ago. And we're looking for volunteers still from the area to drive a tractor for 2 days down the trail, mowing the trail. So they started at the edge of our trail on the west. And one thing they noted is we just have to, they were thinking we need to know how to connect our trail with the bike park better, because it's hard to tell where the trail leaves when it gets to that one road there going on Highway 5. So really interesting to know that we're gonna save some money there, hopefully, where we don't have to send our people to go cut the grass. And for this season anyway, we're gonna see how it works out. Another thing that we've been doing with the trail group is we've been doing little shoot-offs of the trail, and we can apply for grants and different funding through the Trail Association. So that's something I think that we can examine closer with our recreation here, is to maybe apply for some grants to help pay for the cost of creating some shoot-offs of the trail around Neepawa. We have a few places that we could definitely connect with our trail maybe. So that's all I just wanted to mention, was just about the trail mowing.
Thank you. Is anybody able to attend the celebrations on the weekend? Oh, go ahead.
I have a council report.
Okay, go
Go
for it.
ahead and ask that. June 7th, I met with the HAND. We had our AGM, reorganizational and regular meeting. Thank you to Mayor Headley for attending with us. It was a very good meeting. Everything's going very well. Just a few things to mention. We're doing monthly reports. That's what Michelle's doing, just to keep the board up to date with everything that's happening. So in May, there was a change of equipment due to the upgrades of the systems and the buttons to Lifeline. So Michelle's doing some courses on that, but it's going well. Income tax program has wrapped up. There were 71 returns done by the Prairie Mountain Health volunteers, 25 done by Gary Black. Our spring tea was held. It was very successful. There was 81 people in attendance. They actually had to turn people away at the door. After all of the expenses, they had a profit of about $498. What they did different this year is they had a bake auction, so we all made goodies and they sold it. I was asked to make a matrimonial cake, so I took brownies. Yeah.
Close enough.
It's close. The grief discussion group continues to meet on Monday afternoons. Cardio drumming had 1 session in May, but they'll hold 3 sessions to kind of make up for that in June. Elks Manor Walking Club started June 3rd. The meal program for HAND at the center. Takeout, 319 in May. Delivery, 132 meals delivered. And on-site meals was 451. So they're doing very well. We are going to have our barbecue again in August. The dates will follow. They have asked, I will bring that again to council, but they have asked if the town of Neepawa could possibly deliver some of the picnic tables this year. If there was some town staff that would be able to do that, but I'll bring that forward, just because they were doing it themselves and it was quite difficult to get it done. But I'll bring that forward. After that, we're having another meeting September 27th. That's it.
Really minor, June 12th, county courthouse discussion, follow-up discussion and approve an expenditure for the county courthouse. This is just as much to notify residents in the town. There's going to be trees removed on the front of the county courthouse that have been starting to cause some damage. So those cedars and that we see at the front of the building, that is a county courthouse board decision. It is not a town of Neepawa decision. So if you have issue with it, it is not a decision that has been made at the town office level. It is to do with the county courthouse, and it's in preserving the life of that important building to us. And if you take a look in our Neepawa sign there, not that many years ago, there was no trees really on the front of that building, and it really did show it out more than what it does today. So, but like I said, I just want to make the county courthouse will be spending $2,700 for tree removal, and it is not the town of Neepawa removing trees.
I'll follow that, not a report, but just a shout out, speaking of tree removal, to the staff, public works staff on the weekend. Was out bright and early after a weather event, cleaning up streets, making them passable. Still working very hard for that. There's still branches down around town, and people are allowed to move the branches. They can do their own, they don't have to call the town to do it. If it's on your lawn, or if it's on your boulevard, or if it's on your street, you're more than welcome to like pull it to the curb. That's okay. Just a big shout out, our staff on a weekend when they didn't need to be out, were out working very hard. So thank you to them.
I did also attend on Sunday the Neepawa Area Pride, Paint with Pride event. And just to let know that the sidewalk did meet some of the things that we asked as a town. Without the white outlines they're now in place to ensure those of elderly, that there won't be confusion as they're coming across those colored areas. But well-attended event, and it was great to see all walks of life there, and it's done and in place, and it looks great. It definitely adds some vibrant color in front of the Arts Forward.
It was so dull before.
It actually goes with the building now.
Yeah.
It was very tastefully done, and it looks fantastic.
Okay, any other council reports? Do we have anything on the Filipino celebrations at all in the June district? Anybody want to report on that?
I just touched on the side, it was
Yeah,
fabulous.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so some of us were able to attend the June district meeting, which was held this past week in Minnesota, and it was very informative.
It's my first time to Minnesota.
Yeah. On June 5th, we were able to talk with Minister of Finance, and it was a very valuable meeting where we were able to discuss the needs of Neepawa, and we believe we were well received. And just to let you know, Dr. Gabby Albero and Dr. Emma Ball will be starting their residency program on July 1st. And,
She's
Yes.
from Neepawa. Or was
Yes.
briefly.
Dr. Emma Ball.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah, one of my previous students. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's, if you remember, Reverend Joe Ball is her father. He's now the minister at the Brandon General Hospital. Okay, council reports, department reports. From the Neepawa Area Planning District. Just kidding.
All's going well.
There we go. Okay, the name. Manager of Operations.
Thank you. So we received our pothole patcher, and staff have been easing into it, and I think they finally figured out how to work it. They've got a rhythm set, so provided weather cooperates, they'll continue going around town and do as many as they can. I've given them the green light to work as many hours as they want, and hopefully get as many potholes done. I'll track to see how close we are near the end of the month, and if we have to extend the rental, I'll discuss that with you guys and see how we're moving along. But yeah, I ordered a second load of the aggregate, and I think we're on our 4th tote of the emulsion oil. So we've been going through quite a bit of material, so we're definitely patching. Yesterday, Public Works staff received training on our new vac combo truck. Supplier came out and trained staff on proper operation and some of the tricks and neat nuances of how to operate that truck properly.
Your lead hand mentioned the clear end on it, so that you could make sure that you're taking out the solid stuff. And
Yeah, they also
he was just kept talking about that. So
they also brought another clear tube so that they could demonstrate the different jetting tips and the effectiveness of how they clean, so that the guys have an understanding of what they're doing depending on what the blockage is. So training was really worthwhile. Concrete we'll be discussing later on. Street sweeping will be going on throughout the summer as staff are available. We're kind of shoving staff in every direction because we're doing digs, and we're also, like I said, have a staff member in that contracted truck and also responding to plug sewers. So it's kind of a bounce around with all of our staff. Street line painting is behind schedule, but that's also due to the fact that we're spreading emulsion everywhere on the streets. So we'll wait till we have that patched up and try to get sweeping, and then we'll get all those streets painted up. One thing I've noticed driving around, is probably many people have, that there's quite a few unsightly yards starting to pop up. So we'd ask residents to kind of tidy those up and mow your lawns. Some of them are getting a little high, so we appreciate that. And as Councilor Quadra mentioned, yeah, there's still a number of trees to clean up. I've already green-lighted a contractor to go around and try to get on the high broken branches that are kind of precariously hanging. So they've been instructed to drive every single street and look for widowmakers and get those cut and removed for us, just as we have no means to remove that. Dust control has not been ordered yet. In a normal year, we probably would have applied this many weeks ago, but with all the moisture we've been receiving, I've paused, and I still don't know when I'll be ordering a send a load of that stuff in, but I did speak to that contractor at your last AMM show.
Yes. Yes.
Quite some time ago. And they were prepped and ready to go then, but yeah, we just had a lot of moisture ever since, so.
Okay, any questions for our manager?
Just to touch on the tree issue, and I know it's a very fast-moving thing. I do know Neepawa Minor Ball had some damage. They are hosting provincials out on that site, so in terms of if there's potential, I think just to help that group, they were putting together volunteer crews to get trees cut, but somehow to help them get that ready because they've got teams coming in from around the province starting Friday. So it's the first time they've hosted provincials in 5 years.
Okay.
So.
Just a quick question about the asphalt machine. Do we still like put some fill in and then top it up with that machine, or does the machine do it all?
Machine does it all. So it'll blow out any loose material, and then we spray the tar in there, emulsion, and then it's a combination of the aggregate and the emulsion going together. So you just kind of mix it as it works, and it's a rapid setting emulsion, so it hardens up. Once it's exposed to the air and sunlight, it has its chemical reaction and hardens.
Right. So we won't see it come apart. It should stick
It
together.
should stay in there pretty sturdy. I think it's actually probably a better product than going with hot mix because it has a better bond temperature.
Okay. Further questions? As there are none. We'll move on to correspondence. The Evergreen Environmental Technologies Corporation's financial statements.
So not much to say, it's there for your review and reading. They had anticipated a deficit when they budgeted for last year of 82,000. They actually came up with a surplus of 229,000. So they're in pretty good shape there, unless there's questions. I can pass those along to them as well.
No questions for Evergreen. Next up, Samantha Jury for the Neepawa area residents. The letter of support, a petition for Buds and Bloom Early Learning Center expansion.
So council received this, and they are dubbing it as a petition, and technically it is a signatures on list, but under the authority of the municipal act, formal petitions have to be formulated and registered in a certain fashion. So we'll still call it a petition, but really it's looking for support of council. They're writing on behalf of a group of concerned residents to present information basically advocating for the expansion of Buds and Bloom Early Learning Center's facility. And they think this would be very beneficial for the community. They want you to consider this information at the next council meeting, which is tonight, and take some initiative to take the necessary steps to expand the daycare facility over there, because it would have a positive impact on the community. Just to add to this, before I read the letter of support that went around with getting the signatures, is the fact that they did speak to us here a few weeks ago and spoke about there being a waiting list of 200 plus kids. So I think council was very interested in learning all that information from there. And I'll quickly read the letter. We're writing to express our strong support for the expansion of Buds and Bloom Early Learning Center in our community. As residents in and around the community of Neepawa, we believe that this initiative will bring significant benefits and enhance the quality of life for all residents in the community. The proposed expansion aims to address the barriers associated with returning to work and contributing to the success of the community after having a child, which is an ongoing concern for many of us. For example, there are 17 physicians needing to adequately staff the new regional hospital, and in turn our community. Implementing this child care facility expansion will make the community of Neepawa more appealing for physicians with young families to move to our rural community. The same can be said for teachers, nurses, lab technicians, dietitians, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, trades workers, retail workers, high-level employees, wait staff, and various other essential professions crucial for sustaining a community. One of the key advantages of this change will combat the ongoing concern for so many families, which is having to decide between staying at home with our children due to limited space in daycare facilities and returning to work. Our enthusiasm for this initiative and from the support from the community is evident in the petitions that are attached. There's strong collective desire to see this change implemented. In conclusion, we wholeheartedly support the expansion of Buds and Bloom Early Learning Center and urge you to consider the numerous benefits it will bring to the community. We are confident that with your support, we can make Neepawa a better place for all residents. Thank you for your attention to this important matter. We look forward to seeing positive changes in our community.
I'm glad to see so many people on the same page as council. When we listened to the presentation that night, I think we were all very much, we knew it was a need, but we didn't know the numbers as far as waiting lists and that sort of thing. It was all anecdotal, and it was good to hear from Donna that night and the supporters she brought with us, and to see this many people as passionate about seeing this happen as we are really bodes well for the continuation of quality childcare in the town of Neepawa.
I just add to that, and after the presentation, spoke with people who are involved in some of the early child care in the community and recognize that there's a lot of issues facing it, whether it be spots, it's also the number of caregivers and getting training, and there's been support from the community with the early child care program in the community as well, and really look forward to going forward with due process so that we can help facilitate expansion of early child care in the community.
For sure.
Yes, and just so you know, it was very well received. And I did reply to that email, and the part that hasn't been mentioned is logistics take time, as we all become aware when redistribution of property line zoning and land planning proceeds, and all the events that must occur in order to help bring this to fruition. And one of the things that was also mentioned is the early childhood training. So we have provided a training center to enhance the ability to train in Neepawa, and I believe our Economic Development Officer, Marilyn Crew, has in fact lined up the training for early childhood. So we are in fact very supportive of the daycare program here. Okay. Municipal and Northern Relations, our operating grant.
So this is just notice that you receive annually, that we'll be receiving our first payment of the municipal operating grant. So budget 2024 permanently adds the 47 million increase to the unconditional municipal operating basket that was provided by the previous government as an in-year adjustment in 2023, plus an additional 4.4 million or 2% for inflationary increase. This actually results in total operating funding of 221.1 million for all municipalities in the province of Manitoba. The town of Neepawa will be receiving for the year $637,091.64. So we've received our first payment for roughly around $477,000. This municipal operating grant money is unconditional, gives the town of Neepawa full flexibility to allocate the funding according to its local priorities. But we do have to report on that annually to make sure that the grant funding that we receive is achieving our high-level outcomes that we're identifying in our budgets.
Just to touch on, so there has been an increased funding from the province, but the levels those are, just to bring it back to an issue that's near and dear within the community. Last council meeting, we approved $360,000 worth of street expenditures repair. We got a 2% increase on those funds, so it helps, but it's doesn't move the needle in a large way. It's not a huge windfall to the community, but it's very much appreciated because it's something that we have not been receiving in past years.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of our correspondence, and we'll move on to new business. Apparently, we've moved on there before, so we're now. Yeah, so we're on to approving a paving project at the Neepawa Fire Hall, and I believe there's strategy also involved in this because it's called Phase 1. Would you like to comment on that, Vinny?
Yes, so we reached out to the same contractor that is doing the patchwork or street rip-ups and repairs of some of our nasty zones. In a discussion with the fire chief, we decided to break the paving into 2 different phases, so that obviously we wouldn't trap our trucks in the back, and then same with our RCMP attachment. So phase 1 will just be the rear parking and maintaining access for the RCMP once that project's done, and the front portion on the north side of the fire hall. The remainder, everything west of that, will be phase 2. So Zeno has agreed to work that with us and provide some, I feel, great competitive bidding here. So.
Good, thank you. Any questions from councillors? Okay, be it resolved that we accept the proposal of Zenith Paving Limited for the first phase of paving at the Fire Hall lot in the amount of $70,923 plus GST. Moved by Councillor Sicily, seconded by Councillor Kosenchuk. All those in favor? And that is carried. Next up, we have sidewalk and concrete repairs. Mr. Sakay.
Same thing. This one here I posted locally on our social media page. I posted it on our town website, and also I put it on Merck's. We had probably, I think, 45 downloads on Merck's, and I said I reached out and did invitational to as many of the contacts that I had on my phone locally, just so that they had the heads up as well. We ended up receiving 7 bids. 2 were non-compliant. One's a late arrival, one's missing information. I'm going to spread, and I also broke the 2 quote requests into just strictly concrete repairs and also just new work, so that if one job was too big or too small for a company, they could choose to bid only one if they wanted. Everyone that bid decided to go for each component. So our low bid is a local bid for chisel construction of $116,630 plus tax to complete both new sidewalk installation and concrete repairs around town.
Okay, questions from council?
We've worked with this contractor before, right?
Correct, they just did the concrete work at the pool.
And we're happy with the work. Good.
They were very quick too.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's very
To
good.
ensure that it was done before the pool opened. They
Yeah, between the
actually
rain,
stepped up
yeah.
for us.
One comment, when we saw the tenders go out, there was some concern because people thought it was a late posting. It's nice to see, us knowing how the concrete work follows up typically on sidewalks, that we had a great selection of contractors to pick from in that case. It was fantastic.
Perfect. Okay, with that, be it resolved that we accept the bid of Chisel Construction to complete the sidewalk installation projects identified for 2024, as well as additional concrete and sidewalk repairs for a quoted amount of $116,630 plus tax. Moved by Councillor Sicily, seconded by Councillor Pottinger. All those in favor? And that is carried. Next up, we have the subdivision for McCutcheon Farms Limited.
Want me to speak, Joe?
Sure, yeah.
So this is, the applicant is Heather, oh no, sorry, did you get
No, this is
that?
McCutcheon, did I skip it again?
Yeah.
Oh, for crying out
No,
loud.
my papers are out of order.
Let's try the proper format here.
So the applicant for this subdivision 4437-24-865 is Heather Madiver. She's also the owner. This is at 608 Brown Avenue. And the proposed subdivision intends to divide the existing property along the internal common wall into 2 residences. So we're technically creating a duplex. We'll provide for 2 separate titles. Both residences are currently being serviced by municipal sewage and piped water, and that will still continue after the subdivision. Access is onto a municipal roadway, and there is a pipeline and a historic site or structure within 1 mile, which really doesn't affect this application. So when you're looking at circulation of this particular subdivision, everything complies with our development plan. And of course, our zoning bylaw, there was a small error in what we received from Community and Regional Planning, said that they're actually referencing the RT zone, which is residential 2-unit instead of the single. So I guess the confusion with that is in 2013, there was a variance order issued and approved for this particular property to to intensify residential use from the RS residential single to the residential 2-unit zone. So I'm going to guess the review by Community and Regional Planning of Brandon wasn't aware of that particular variance at the time, did not receive notice of it. So it doesn't make this go away or they recirculate. We just speak to it as the residential 2-unit zone that it currently exists as. There were no concerns raised by the various government agencies during the circulation process. Of course, they'll have to complete the following, the planned subdivision for Terranet. The Manitoba Hydro will require the landowner to do the statutory easement agreements and grant a right-of-way. And that will be for Central Gas as well, if there's any. And of course, everybody else had no comments or concerns. So provided council is satisfied with the proposed development, and it conforms to policies and whatnot, the Office of the Community and Regional Planning recommends approval of the subdivision. Should you approve it though, they're suggesting there has to be some variances obtained. So your resolution that you're going to see in front of you is going to suggest that a variance order be obtained for both lots where the rear setback to be reduced from the required 25 feet will go to 13.3 for the main building, which is the whole building. That a variance order be obtained for lot 1, where the east side yard setback to be reduced from the 10 feet that is required to a proposed 9 feet 3 inches for the accessory structure. And then the next 2 that they've proposed for you is to provide variances to allow for the shed in the front yard. We have strongly opposed sheds in the front yard. It creates a precedence. So in the resolution, you're going to see that we're asking and recommending that the shed be removed. The next variance is that a variance order be obtained for the west side yard of lot 2 to be reduced from the required 6 feet to the proposed 5 feet 9 inches for that building. We're also asking that each lot now front on Ada Street, because it can no longer front where it was. They be assigned new civic addresses, and that the property owner construct separate accesses onto Ada Street for both lots 1 and 2, which shall be hard surfaced and completed in accordance with bylaw number 3127, which is our driveway approaches bylaw. Any questions?
I think you answered mine.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're going into concrete driveways there when it's because currently they're gravel.
Yeah, so hard surface, they can choose their method of hard surface, we don't.
Yeah, I shouldn't say concrete,
But it has to be hard surface. We did put this as a condition of this particular development as opposed to a development agreement, because technically we have no other, they've got sewer, water, there is no other requirements. And this way, we would guarantee this will be done before a subdivision gets approved.
Just a quick question for Jeff. When you have a duplex, like, is there a certain size limit where you need some sort of firewall, or it's required, or?
It would require a fire separation.
Right.
And I didn't check back on the actual permit. There was a building permit with the same time that variation was done to make it a duplex, and then the work would have been completed at that time, so. So yes, it is, it would have it now, yes. Yeah. It's currently treated as a duplex as well, it's already converted. This would actually just give it title as one. Yeah, instead of a rental situation.
Alrighty. Be it resolved that we approve subdivision application 4437-24-8625 of Heather Madiver to subdivide lots 1 to 3, block 63, plan 256 at 608 Brown Avenue, subject to the following conditions. That a variance order be obtained for both lots where the rear setback to be reduced from the required 25 feet to the proposed 13 feet 3 inches for the main building. That a variance order be obtained for lot 1 where the east side yard setback be reduced from the 10 feet to the proposed 9 feet 3 inches for the accessory structure. That a variance order be obtained for the west side yard setback of lot 2 to be reduced from the required 6 feet to the proposed 5 feet 9 inches for the main building. That the detached accessory structure be removed from the front yard of lot 2. That each lot shall front on Ada Street and be assigned new civic addresses, and that the property owner construct a separate access onto Ada Street for both lots 1 and 2, which shall be hard surfaced and completed in accordance with bylaw number 3127. Moved by Councillor Gerard, seconded by Councillor Nadeau. Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor? And that is carried. Now we'll move on to the subdivision.
I'm going to ask you to go to bylaws first, Murray, because our resolution actually speaks to the fact that they have to get a zoning amendment. So if second and third reading for the zoning amendment are approved, then go back to approving the subdivision, just because of the order. Like if you voted against the zoning bylaw, for example, then the resolution not going to work.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
got it. That's what that arrow means.
Yes.
Put it in order, not that.
They're messing with me on diet.
Brilliant.
Crazy. Okay. Be it resolved that bylaw number 3229-24, being a bylaw of the town of Neepawa to amend zoning bylaw 3184-18, be now read for a second time. Moved by Councillor Sicily, seconded by Councillor Pottinger. Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried.
Can I maybe just quickly for the audience, because they're going to probably wonder what the bylaw is we're even talking about. This is the bylaw that comes out of effect of the public hearing we had earlier this evening, where McCutcheon Farms wants to basically amend the zoning of the residential single unit that is over on the property along the Crocus Drive over there in our CN property, so that they can create duplexes for the lots that are in between the 4 duplexes on the north and the 4 duplexes on the south. So this is creating consistency for the whole length of Crocus Drive, where they will all be duplexes.
Alrighty. Be it resolved that bylaw number 3229-24, being a bylaw of the town of Neepawa to amend zoning bylaw 3184-18, be now read for a third time and passed. And this is a recorded vote. This will be moved by Councillor Kosenchuk, seconded by Councillor Sicily. All those in favor? Carried. Now that we've got it rezoned, we can actually do the subdivision application.
So this is subdivision application 4437-24-8627. The applicant is Blake McCutcheon, but the registered owner being McCutcheon Farms. This is for a subdivision on the southwest of 331415, which we just did a zoning amendment for. It's lots 5 and 6, plan 65638, and lot 3, block 1, plan 33580. This proposed subdivision intends to subdivide 10 lots to build residential duplexes. The existing property contains a commercial building that will be removed. The property is currently serviced by municipal water and piped sewage. Accesses will be developed at the time the new lots are developed and will be onto the municipal roadway. So just to be clear, when it says 10 lots to build residential duplexes, that is 5 structures split by a common party wall to create 10 different units. It still will only be 5 structures. The proposed subdivision is located in an area that has been identified as having contaminated soil, and the applicant is aware of that and has been informed that the only type of building allowed for the area will not include basements, only crawl spaces. And that's precautionary measures we took even though the information we were receiving from the province and the applicable department would suggest that, there is nothing necessarily to worry about there. The applicant has already initiated the zoning bylaw amendment. We just approved that bylaw, and basically everything within our development plan and our zoning is suggesting that this particular subdivision meets all of the core requirements. So for residential 2 units, you need your lot to be 3,300 square feet in size and a 30-foot frontage. It meets all of that and exceeds it. The commenting departments did not have any concerns. Of course, plan of subdivision will be required. Westland Communications would look for an easement, hydro and gas again, easements and right-of-ways. MTS easements as required, right-of-ways. No concerns from the Neepawa Area Planning District. And should council wish to approve this application to subdivide, that the zoning amendment be obtained. We've done that. And of course, the other thing I've added, that we would enter into a development agreement because the water and sewer still has to be addressed. Those discussions have been ongoing with McCutcheon Farms, and they're prepared to put that agreement in place as well. Any questions?
Okay. So we'll move on with the resolution. Be it resolved that we approve subdivision application 4437-24-8627 of McCutcheon Farms Limited to subdivide Lot 3, Plan 65-638 and Lots 5 and 6, Plan 65-638 in Southwest 33-14-15 West, subject to the rezoning of the property from RS Residential Single Unit Zone to RT Residential 2 Unit Zone, and the proponent entering into a development agreement with the town of Neepawa for the development of the property. Moved by Councillor Nadeau, seconded by Councillor Gerard. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is carried. Which takes us to other business. Councillor Sicily.
I spoke with our rec director today to check in on Canada Day and our volunteers. We have one person signed up to volunteer. And I've thought about this, and we keep asking people in our community to volunteer. I think we as council need to be the example, and it would be great to see all of council down volunteering at Canada Day to show their support. So.
I will go and I will fill in whatever hole is there.
That would be great. So yes, and greatly appreciated. I know Nicole would really appreciate it. So.
She told me I couldn't play my guitar.
Well, Lisa's gonna sing on
We're gonna
Canada.
have to set up bouncy house.
So you can play your guitar while she sings on Canada.
All right. Any other comments? Not be it resolved that the council of the town of Neepawa do now adjourn this regular meeting of council at 7:49 p.m. Moved by Councillor Sicily, seconded by Councillor Kosenchuk. All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you.